Okay, I had to switch over to my laptop camera, sorry. So we're gonna go over chords next. We got the strumming down. There are a total of 8 or 9 chords in this song, which sounds like a lot, but honestly they're pretty easy. And there are variations to chords, so you don't have to do bar chords. So I'm gonna go over that right now. So the first chord that I'm gonna go over is A7. We know A7 already. A7 is essentially, it sounds like that. And what it is depending on how you finger it, I use both fingerings, but you can either use your index and your middle, or your middle finger and your ring finger. And it's completely dependent on you, whatever floats your boat. So the way you finger this, or the way the chord is you put your index finger on the second fret of the 4th string, counting from the bottom of the guitar. And then you put your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string from the bottom of the guitar. That's A7. Second chord that I'm going to go over is A7 sus4, which is really easy switch from A7, and all it is just you're going to switch whichever finger you're using for the 2nd fret on the 2nd string. You're going to slide that up 1 fret, which is over here, which is essentially the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, counting from the bottom. So that's A7 and A7 sus4. And then D minor. We know D minor as well. D minor sounds like this. And then, so the way you finger that is you put your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, counting from the bottom of the guitar. You put your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, counting from the bottom, and you put your index finger on the 1st fret, on the 1st string, counting from the bottom of the guitar. Not sure you can see that, but yeah, that's what it looks like. And then, okay, so the next chord that I'm going to go over is the D7, which is again an easy switch from the D minor. So all it is a D7. Sounds like this, and we know this chord. Basically, all it is you put your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, counting from the bottom of the guitar. You put your ring finger on the 2nd fret on the 1st string, counting from the bottom of the guitar, and you put your index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, counting from the bottom of the guitar. That's D7. Okay, the next chord I'm going to go over is C7. Now, there are 2 ways to play C7. The first way is like a C chord, which is a C chord we know. C chord is, if you forgot, is the 3rd fret of the 5th string, counting from the bottom of the guitar. Your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, counting from the bottom of the guitar, and then your 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. A C7, all you're going to do is add your pinky to the 3rd fret of the 3rd string. That's C7. That's one way to play the C7, and it's the easiest way to play the C7 if you're more used to campfire chords. The other way to play C7, which is the way I play it, is a bar chord. And if you don't know what a bar chord is, all it is just you're placing you're barring an entire fret of strings. That's essentially what it is. So the way you play a C7 chord as a bar chord is you're gonna bar the entire 3rd fret. You're gonna bar all of it with your index finger. Now, if you're not used to bar chords, this is gonna hurt at first, and it's not gonna ring out. It just takes time, and it'll work if you keep practicing and if you keep working with it. So you bar the 3rd fret, and then you put your ring finger on the 5th fret of the 4th string, and then you put your pinky on the 5th fret of the 2nd string. Same chord. You can choose which chord you want to do. If you're more used to bar chords, then you can do the C7 bar chord. And if you're more used to campfire chords, then do the first variation. But I suggest getting used to bar chords if you want to keep playing guitar, because it's very useful and it's extremely common. The next chord I'm going to go over is the F chord, which is another bar chord, but again, there's another variation to it. So the bar chord of F is just your index finger on, you're barring the first fret, and you're putting, it's like an A minor shape, if you remember what an A minor shape is. Oh, I'm sorry, it's like an E shape, if you remember what it is. And then you're putting a bar on it. So basically you're barring the first fret, and you're placing your middle finger on the second fret of the third string coming from counting from the bottom, and then you're placing your ring finger and your pinky on the third fret of the fifth and fourth strings. Right? Okay. And the variation of that, the easier way to play it, and actually is much easier, is essentially, it looks like a C, and it sounds like this. It sounds exactly the same. Basically, all it is you're placing your ring finger on the third fret of the fourth string, counting from the bottom, middle finger on the second fret of the third string, counting from the bottom, and then you're making a little bar with your index finger on the first fret of the second and first string. When you play this chord, make sure to just strum the bottom four strings. So yeah, that's how you play an F chord. If you don't really have to worry about F major 7 right now. Actually, I'm not going to teach you F major 7. It doesn't really make a difference in the song. But yeah. So the first chord that appears in the song is the G minor 7. Again, this has two variations, which is actually if you're not used to bar chords and you're going to be doing the variations, which is essentially the campfire chords, then you're not really going to play a G minor 7, you're just going to play a G minor. But the bar chord for G minor 7, all it is you're barring the third fret, and then you're placing your ring finger on the fifth fret of the fifth string. That's a G minor 7. And then there is a G minor in the song, and G minor, all it is you're adding your pinky to the fifth fret of the D string, which is the fourth string counting from the bottom. So this is G minor, which is with the pinky. Without the pinky is G minor 7. Now the variation, which is just you're not going to be technically playing G minor 7. This is the same chord that you'll be playing for G minor 7 and G minor if you're going to be playing the simpler chords, which is totally understandable. The variation is very simple. All it is putting your third finger on the third fret of the sixth string, and placing your index finger on the first fret of the fifth string, and then you're strumming, but you're only strumming the first four strings. Sounds kind of weird, but in the context of the whole group, it's not really going to make a difference. I think I went over all the chords. Don't worry about. I'm going to actually explain this now. Well, I'll explain it later, actually, but in another video. But those are all the chords that you have to worry about for this song, and you know the strumming pattern, and you know the chords. All that's really going to be complicated is, first of all, if you're first learning these chords, it's going to be switching between these chords, and I suggest to practice switching between the chords to find different ways to switch, like pivot points. Like A7 and A7 sus4 are obviously very easy to switch from and to, because all it is just, it's the exact same shape except for one fret. And the same thing with D minor and D7. It's fairly easy to switch from and to because they're in the same position, and you can just make, basically what I'm trying to say is that to practice transitioning between chords, especially chords that you aren't familiar with, look at the song that you're playing, look at the transitions that you need to know and that you don't know, and then practice transitioning between those two. And eventually, practice without strumming, just practice with a simple down strum. And eventually you're going to find that it's very easy to switch between them, and that you subconsciously find different pivot points. So yeah, those are the chords of the song, and all that's really left to talk about is is how to play it. So I'll say that in another video. This video is very long, I'm sorry, but yeah, this is just for those who don't really know the chords.